Alright. Alright. Now here we are at Vamp 1. Well, here we are to continue screen, first of all. But we're at Vamp 1. And, again, like usual, I've got entirely too many words to say about this boss before we actually begin anything here. So, first off, I'm playing on PC version for this guide. So, some of the strats are a little bit different if you're playing on the HD collection or on the SOL or Substance PS2 versions. Just bear that in mind. I'll kind of try and explain. I'll try to explain how to do this if you're on one of those other versions. That way, you know, it all gets a fair shake. Unfortunately, I just won't be able to show it. I could show the HD collection, but currently my capture card is out of commission, so there's that. But anyway, more to the point. Vamp has two ways you can go about him that are faster than just fighting him more or less the normal way. So there is a lethal variant, and there is a non-lethal variant. As is generally the case in this video game, the lethal variant is faster than the non-lethal variant. However, in Vamp's case, it is night and day faster. So the lethal strat for Vamp involves using the Stinger, right? Now, you may be thinking, well, if you hit him once, he's just going to dive under, and he's going to do his whole shenanigan things. And that's true. However, there is a few frames in which he is still vulnerable after getting hit. I can explain that a little better. There is a few frames in between his invulnerability frames from getting hit and when he's invulnerable when he's diving under the water. Now, that is very exploitable with the Stinger launcher. Like I said, this can be done with either the PC version or the HDC or the PS2 versions. However, the cues for actually taking this shot are very, very different. Now, on PC, there's hardly any visual latency or anything. No frame stuttering, no nothing. So you can just take shots and take shots and take shots, and nothing will really slow down. On a modern rig, of course, that is, I should say. Whereas on the HD collection, for one, there is tons of frame stutter when there's any sort of smoke on screen. So that does change the visual cue, or that does change the cue for taking the shot. And we'll talk about that a little bit more a little later. But I do want to actually also take the time to talk about the non-lethal variant. I'll show both ways off. You know, that way, archival purposes and whatnot. But the non-lethal strat is very, very dissimilar to the lethal strat. For one, you can't really juggle him with his iframes with the M9, as far as I know. So you take your first shot with the M9, and then he'll dive under pretty much no matter what you do. And then from there, it's better shown than said, so I'll just leave it there. But the first thing I'm going to show you is actually the lethal variant with the Stinger launcher. Now on PC, like I said, the cues are different between the consoles, but on PC, your cue is actually an audio cue. You want to listen for him to scream and then take your shot. And if you time it properly, he will never dive under the water. So let's give it a go and see what we got. So Stinger. So see, like I said, it is definitely very few frames you have in between each shot to make the next one land and actually do damage and interrupt him from diving. So you have to have this cue more or less perfect every time. So that was basically it right there, with the exception of the last shot. Sometimes there are input drops, sometimes you just kind of miss the timing. It doesn't really change much. If he escapes with one hit left like that, you can just... Oh, that was much too fast. If he escapes with one hit left, you can just use your AK when he pops back up and start spraying him down, and you'll finish the fight just fine. And again, so let's actually show that off. So wait for him to surface. Okay, well, maybe not so simple, but you get the point. You can just take a shot and he'll die.
Right, come in.
And that's the lethal variant for PC version. On the HD collection, the queue is a visual queue. You're waiting to see the... So when bosses take damage, or when you take damage, there's a long red segment of that kind of gradually ticks down to denote the damage you're taking. You really want to watch for that, and you want to watch for it to start ticking down before you take the next shot on Vamp. And that's basically the cue. Now, the timing will be different between each shot, because with every shot, you're going to have more and more delay due to just the pure amount of smoke that's in the area. So you got to be really careful with that. But now to show the non-lethal variant. So, non-lethal, really simple. M9, take a shot. Now, you want to hang down here. Actually, hold on, I've already messed up.
Oh God, no, Jack.
Let's call a mulligan on that one. So, for this one, you don't really have to move. M9, take the stinger out. Wait for him to get a little further down. Take 2 shots. That'll drain his O2. It won't make him come back up faster, but it'll take out more of his stamina, and that's what you really want. You have to be careful not to shoot him too early down there, or else it'll take health damage instead. So just hang off the ledge, let him swipe, take a couple of punches, and then... Okay.
Right.
So...
Right. Answer me. Right.
This is also a precise little trick in that you have to be standing very, very much like basically right in his hitbox. And see right there, it took health damage instead of stamina damage because I shot a little too early. But the basic gist of it is you want to be standing basically inside of his hitbox so that he wants to take another swipe at you instead of diving back into the water. And while you're climbing up, I forgot to mention, you have invincibility frames. So you really... The gist of it is that you want to position yourself just right so that your punches take yourself into his hitbox. That way you're not constantly readjusting. And really the aim for this is to get about 6 to 8 punches. 8 is really good, 6 is kind of middling to average. Or middling to okay, rather. And you know, you're right. You can get like 9 punches or 10 depending on your spacing, but it's difficult. I suggest just trying for like, I suggest when you're first trying out this strat to just go for the 6 punches and then work your way up from there. But you can see how vastly different the time differential is between lethal and non-lethal Vamp. So if you get the opportunity, if you ever find yourself like, okay, so basically, your options are only limited on Vamp by how many stingers you have going into the fight, which is basically determined by how many you've got exiting the Harrier. Now, that's not entirely true, because there is a box of stinger ammo in the wreckage room in the swimming section that you can pick up, depending on whether you do swim glitch or not. If you're just starting out, I really don't suggest doing a swim glitch, so you can just grab that pack of ammo for safety and do lethal Vamp that way. So, like, really, learn both ways, but try and favor lethal Vamp if you're going for fast times. Again, it's going to take a lot of practice because it is precise, but it's very doable for a beginner to do this. It just takes practice and time. But yeah, that's basically Vamp. Like I said, HDC PC is a little bit different, but yeah. I mean, it's as long as you keep the cues in mind, it'll be fine.